The Endurance Asia podcast.
And always tell a truthful story if they ever ask. Stop the complaining cause things ain't that bad.
Moving on to Trailwalker then. Obviously there's been a lot of challenges in Hong Kong recently, and really sad to see that the race was cancelled. I was due to run as well, and like travelling up from Singapore, I decided to stay back until arriving today. But what was your reaction when you guys first heard that the race had been cancelled, especially given, Veronica, you'd flown all the way in from Slovakia. You guys had been planning this for a year. What was when you first got the news, what was your initial reaction? I suppose firstly with you, Veronica, having just flown halfway across the world to race.
Well, we were all super disappointed, but we kind of had a strategy meeting before it was announced, and we agreed, like, no matter what happens, we will do the run and we will take part in the unofficial race. Because I think so many teams were training hard for a very long time, so we didn't want to give up on it. That's my opinion on it. I think, of course we were disappointed, but that's how it is at the moment, so we just had to adjust.
Yeah. And John, what was your,
I think we were all just gutted. You know, we put in a lot of time into this and a lot of preparation and... so many things happened behind the scenes to make it all happen on the day, and we were gutted, but at the same time, this was almost like what happens in a trail race where things happen that you can't prepare for, and you have to adjust on the fly and figure out what's the right thing to do to get to the finish line here. And we had that chat as a team. We decided we all wanted to do it. Having said that, unfortunately. We did lose a team member in the last couple of days, and we were fortunate enough to be able to rope in Tom Robertshaw, who was a pretty handy replacement, as it turns out.
Yeah, that's not a bad sub-in.
We found out yesterday that when he did Hong Kong 4 Trails, he actually did the MAC in 12:45, which is exactly our time, but that was the first 100 Ks of a 300K race. Yeah. So, he's pretty strong.
I think we slowed him down on the uphills. Yeah, all 52 kilograms off him.
Yeah. What was your reaction, Ryan, when the news first came out around the race being cancelled?
Of course, very sad. You could sort of see it coming, so you would accepted it a little bit more easily, and pretty sad, of course, for ourselves, but then for the charity itself. Yeah. It's really sad news. A friend from the running community had just had a third child and had really looking forward to this. So, it's just very sad. But then we're all here in Hong Kong. We're fit. We're able to run. So it was going to be a given that we were going to run.
Yeah. And I'm sure you'll all agree that it was probably the right decision for the race directors to make. It's not just about the runners, it's about all of the support crews, all of the people that are manning the aid stations, and just the amount of logistics that goes into a race like that. I know there's 5,000 runners, but actually the amount of people that are involved on the day is probably 5 or 6 times that, right?
I think it's maybe like 6,000 or 7,000 when you add in the volunteers and the supporters and everyone else, and they're sort of coming and going throughout. And I guess if you don't know that they can be 100% safe, then you have to ask some pretty serious questions about whether it should go ahead.
Yeah. And so you all decided to still race. Obviously, Jeff, that was originally supposed to be racing, you were because I remember last year you trained with a team of 5 for the. Did you have the same strategy this year?
No, we sort of almost had an embarrassment of riches last year. So we had a team of 5, and it's a little bit ruthless because at some point, a month out, you've kind of got to make a decision on someone who's been training and working, kind of gets cut. But unfortunately, Justin Andrews, who's an amazing runner, but he's had some injuries. Brian McFlynn's moved to Switzerland. He's doing 2:30 marathons now instead. And so we simply just didn't have the 5. So we scraped together 4, which turned into 3, and then we got it back to 4 just at the last minute. But that was enough.
Yeah. And then so the strategy going into the race, I suppose, like from the very beginning, the goal was obviously to win the race, right? But then you went back and looked at the historical timings for the race. So what was the goal time, and what was the sort of like pacing strategy, and I suppose the support crew plan for the race. Everyone looks to John.
John's plan.
No, I mean, with the team that we had originally, with 13 hours was I guess the target, and we had 3 goals. One was, we'd like to win the overall race. We wanted to win the mixed team race, and then we wanted to win or get the mixed team record. So 3 different goals. We thought the best chance was, you can throw numbers out there about what you want to do, aspirational targets, but really picking a realistic target was the best way to make sure you don't go out too fast and blow people up. And so 13 hours was what we thought we could do. With what happened, obviously sort of Jeff being slammed at work and then replacing with Tom, we lost a lot of our support runners that we didn't know what the checkpoints would be like. So we actually moved the 13 hours to 13 and a half. We thought that was probably quite realistic. And so we just basically set off there. I mean, at the end of the day, the schedule it's a guideline, but it's not the be all and end all. And I think, we went through on target for the first couple of checkpoints, but then, from stages 3 and 4, we sort of started to get a bit ahead of it. And, I've done Trailwalker a number of times. I've seen teams blow up, and actually these guys just looked really strong. And so we kind of went with it. And then, during the day, we gradually got more and more time off our schedule. We moved to the front and just kept it going.
The Endurance Asia podcast.
And always tell a truthful story if they ever ask. Stop the complaining, cause things ain't that bad.